Welcome to the PI Podcast, your destination for everything NFL, discussing the latest news and providing in-depth analysis of every NFL game. And now, here are your hosts, Ian and Tesh.
Sending a Snapchat to everybody.
Hey guys, what is up? PI Podcast here, back with episode number 10 of the PI Podcast. Big milestone, Ian, episode 10.
No, it's kind of crazy that we've hit 10 already. I feel like we've been doing it for a while, but at the same time, like 10 episodes has gone by really quickly. So happy about that. Happy to see the growth. We just had a video on the YouTube channel hit 100 views. So that was exciting to see. We got a couple more subscribers out of it. So we got a banger going on today too.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of things to talk about today. NFL draft slowly coming up around the corner. And I'm really excited for that as well. Very excited for our teams who we're going to pick and for every other team. We got multiple people with multiple picks, so we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, thank you guys for all the support on TikTok, on YouTube, on everywhere, on Twitter as well, everywhere we're at. So definitely, thank you guys. And now we're gonna start off with some news. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, met with the New Orleans Saints today. Ian, do you think he's going to be a New Orleans Saint, or does he fit in that scheme, and does he go somewhere else?
So we've also got some other news to go over, which is going to make more sense once we bring that up. But I think the Saints are really in a win now mode. They're in a slightly easier division, with the Falcons having a new quarterback, the Panthers not having a quarterback, and I mean they still have to put up with Brady. The Saints have always done very well against Tom Brady. So I think they're in a win now mode. We'll go in depth on this later, but they traded with the Eagles to get some more draft capital this year. I really think they're in a win now mode. So I think really Honey Badger would make a good scheme fit in New Orleans.
Yeah, with one of the Saints starting safeties he just retired, so definitely it's good. Definitely Tyrann Mathieu would be a big hole for that defense and make that defense even better. Honey Badger played very well in Kansas City, and he was a key part of that defense. Just if not Chris Jones, it's Tyrann Mathieu that was the head front of that defense in Kansas City. And
I personally think a lot of people kind of sleep on Chris Jones because I think he's definitely in discussions to be the best player on that defense with Tyrann Mathieu. But I think you got to give the slight edge to Tyrann Mathieu because I think safety is a harder position than D tackle.
Definitely understand where you're going with that. Safety, he was just all over the field too. He literally knew what play. On one of the plays I saw, he literally went back and told that guy to go back because he knew what was coming, and he didn't. Safety didn't know what was going on, and so they allowed touchdown that play. So definitely, he's a very emotional player. He even jumps up when they allow a touchdown. He gets upset at himself. He's very emotional. And this would be a big piece for that New Orleans Saints team if they do sign him. If not, there's a lot of other teams that could really use him.
Yeah, speaking of big names, Bobby Wagner has signed with the LA Rams. A 5-year, $50 million contract. What do you think this does for their defense?
Honestly, it just makes that defense better. They let Von Miller left to the Bills, but they just kind of. I mean, he's not a pass rusher linebacker. Bobby Wagner isn't, but they basically replaced Von Miller with Bobby Wagner, and it's gonna be really good because Bobby Wagner still has so much left in him in his career. He's still gonna be a lockdown linebacker for that LA team, and it's kind of scary now because you just having that and the pass rush, you're gonna have to worry about throwing in the middle too. This team could honestly just make another run. I mean, it's looking like that.
Yeah, the Rams are my favorite still. They picked up Bobby Wagner. They did lose some good pieces. I mean, Von Miller. Well, as of right now, they don't have OBJ. I think they might make a deal with him eventually, but they don't have OBJ. They lost Robert Woods. They lost who's the corner that just went to Jacksonville?
Uh,
Darius
Darius
Williams.
Williams, yeah.
So they did lose some decent pieces to their defense and offense, but they picked up Bobby Wagner, the best defensive player that was available, in my opinion, and picked up Allen Robinson, which was a top 5 wide receiver free agent this year.
Yeah, and that Allen Robinson signing is huge because Allen Robinson, his height is higher than Robert Woods. Robert Woods is a really good receiver, and they got a really good receiver in Robert Woods. But um, Allen Robinson, hell of a receiver. He can only get better from here. He's still young, so definitely he has a lot of potential with him in the beginning. So
Yeah, look, his contract is really team friendly. Supposedly, he was offered more money from the Ravens. They were willing to pay $18 million over 2 years, which the Rams are only 17.5 over 2. But LA's incentives were a lot higher, and in a sense, his 5-year, $50 million salary is worth $65 million with all the incentives. And he can get out of his contract if he hits the incentives in his first 2 years. So he can get another big payday on top of the 2 years. As long as he hits his incentives, it's like he can back out of the contract basically. And it's only the first 2 years of the deal, it's $17.5 million with a chance to make $23.5 million.
dang, that is a very team-friendly contract. They definitely wanted Bobby Wagner, and Bobby Wagner's, without a doubt, I think he's gonna hit those incentives, and he's gonna get paid like he should. It's just an amazing pickup for LA though, because Bobby Wagner, he's one of those guys. Just one of those guys that you think you see in one team for his whole career. He's that career-defining player for that team, and yet he got released by the Seahawks. I mean, he still has a lot left in him. I know they're rebuilding. The Seahawks are, but at the end of the day, you're losing your best linebacker, and possibly the best linebacker in the NFL. So
And not only that, the best player on your team. You lost 2 of the best players on your team trying to rebuild, and Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner. And there's rumors that DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are on the trade block too. So that's going to be something we'll have to keep an eye out for the Seahawks as well.
yeah, DK, he put out a tweet saying he never heard anything about a trade. So who knows what's gonna happen with that? He's gonna be upset if he gets traded. I know for a fact DK is gonna be upset if he doesn't hear anything.
He enjoys playing on the Seahawks. But going back to what you just said about DK not knowing anything, they didn't tell Bobby Wagner he got released. Found out on the internet.
Yeah, I don't get that either. I mean, it's easy phone call just to call up a player and saying, "Hey, we're gonna release you. Thank you for your time here." Like,
And to be fair,
how does that go unnoticed? Like, how do you not let your best player on defense? How do you not tell me he's getting released?
especially someone that it's not like he was there for a year. That is pretty much. I'm pretty sure he got drafted there, right?
Yeah, he got drafted there. He spent his whole career there.
So you don't treat someone you drafted top linebacker in the league. And I do understand that news travels extremely fast in the NFL to where the deal happens, someone somewhere leaks it, whether it's the GM of the Denver Broncos, I mean not the Broncos, whether it's someone in the office at Seattle leaks it. Similar with the Russell Wilson thing, like you got 2 parties involved, you've got agents involved, like someone's gonna leak it. But when it's someone like that, you need to, as soon as you're done making the decision to cut, it needs to be the first phone call. The agent needs to be the first phone call, one of the two.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. How hard is it really to call your player before they're getting released, before you give out anything, say anything to anybody. Like, how hard is it just to call up Bobby Wagner, the best linebacker in NFL, be like, "Hey, we're releasing you. Don't know why, but we're releasing you."
Yeah.
So it's definitely just kind of really, really weird. Um, we're gonna have to monitor this, monitor DK, monitor everything that's going with Seahawks. They're in rebuild mode, so it's gonna be interesting to see. But we got a big trade for the NFL draft coming up soon. The Eagles traded their number 16, number 19, and 194th pick to the Saints in exchange for picks number 18, 101 pick, 237th, a 2023 first round pick, and a 2024 second round pick. So a really, really big trade. And I think I don't know who won. I think both teams won in this scenario because you're getting a first and second round pick for future reference for the Eagles. But if you're the Saints, now you can get two amazing defensive players, or you could go get one of your quarterbacks.
Yeah, I like the trade for both teams. I think people are kind of sleeping. You got a lot of Eagles fans saying they won. You got a lot of Saints fans saying they won. There's a lot of people on the fence. When you break down the trade, it's probably one of the rare times it was a super equal trade for both sides. Saints, like I said before, they're in a win now mode. So they get 2 first round picks in this year's draft to try to win now. They're going to be guaranteed starters this year. The Eagles, they did lose their 2 first rounders this year. However, they got one back, which the 19th pick, they got up 18. But they get a first round pick next year and a better QB draft. So you give Jalen Hurts one more full year, see if he's the guy. If he doesn't work out, you've got better QB prospects next year, and you don't have as many teams looking for a quarterback next year because a lot of them are taking them this year. Unless I could see like the Steelers not grabbing one this year. I think they do, but the Falcons might not take one this year. The Saints are probably taking one now that they've done this. Then after that, who's really your quarterback needy teams at that point?
Yeah, even like Washington or something like that. The Giants too, both in the same division. They both could be quarterback needy teams. But this trade is just kind of weird because it's the only problem with this trade is that this year's draft is so heavy on defense. Like it's one of the most talented drafts that I've seen in recent years. That has so many good defensive players that even if you're near the end of the second round, there's going to be a starter. So that's just my thinking around it. Like if you gave up those 2 picks, you're going to miss out on 2 amazing defensive players that you could start now. Um,
Uh,
and next year you don't know if that's going to be defensively heavy.
AJ from YouTube, speaking of quarterbacks, he just asked, what do y'all think happens with Jimmy G? I personally think Jimmy G is staying in San Francisco. I think they waited way too long to try to deal him anywhere. Similar with Baker Mayfield, I think Baker Mayfield's going to have trouble finding a new team, and I think the Browns are going to have to eat a lot of the cap to get rid of him. But Jimmy G, I think the only realistic situation is keeping him.
Yeah, it's looking more and more likely that Jimmy G is going to stay a 49er. And he just might even be backup. I could see Kyle Shanahan starting Jimmy Garoppolo for a couple of games, but honestly, at this point, you have to start Trey Lance. I mean, Jimmy G kind of cost you that game at the end of the game. It cost you the game in the playoffs. So definitely, you have to go and think, oh, we got to start a rookie. We let him sit for a year. He did get some playing time, but he sat most of the year. So definitely, I think Trey Lance is going to be starter. Jimmy G is going to be in that backup role until they trade him or release him or whatever they want to do with him. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. There's going to be a couple scenarios with Jimmy G. Someone could possibly get injured. It would cause Jimmy G's value to go up. If you've got a good team, like let's just say Justin Herbert goes down, Derek Carr goes down, I could definitely see one of them teams that just made a lot of moves. Tua, if Tua goes down, you've got a lot of these guys that have playoff caliber teams. If they go down 100%, Jimmy G or Baker Mayfield's going to be the first two. someone takes if they're trying to hit a playoff spot. I don't think someone like the Jets does that if Zach Wilson goes down. Daniel Jones goes down. I think they stick with Tyrod Taylor. They don't worry about it. But I think Jimmy G's only chance at a real starting job is if someone gets hurt. They might ride with Jimmy G. We really have no idea what the 49ers are going to do. If they don't believe in Trey Lance yet, Jimmy G might get the start for a while. It could be similar to the Tua and Ryan Fitzpatrick in Miami, where Tua sat for a long time and Ryan Fitzpatrick started for most of the games, and then they let Tua play, and when Tua didn't play well, Ryan Fitzpatrick went back in and won games. So we could possibly see something like that as well.
Yeah, Jimmy G is interesting because it depends what team thinks about him in the NFL. Like some teams may be hesitant of him just because of what they saw on tape, but to give Jimmy G the benefit of the doubt, he has a very good win percentage, and he knows how to win. That's just something that you got to take in consideration because that's already, and he has talent. He does have talent. It's not like he's garbage. He does have talent, so the teams are going to be looking at that. But yeah, Ian's totally right. I definitely agree with him. If they keep him, I could see Kyle Shanahan starting him if he doesn't like Trey Lance yet to start. But for right now, I think he's going to be backup for the 49ers.
Jimmy G's win-loss percentage is 71.4%.
Dang.
He's got a career starting record of 24-8.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a really high win percentage. I mean, it's not just because of that, but
he's got a 71% win percentage with 63 total games played.
wow. That's pretty high for the amount of games.
Yeah,
Just adds more draft benefits to Jimmy G if he does get traded. The 49ers can get something for him.
He does, and he's a good game manager. I'm not like he was role modeled after Tom Brady. I mean, he got to sit behind Tom Brady for a few years and watch exactly what the perfect game manager does in certain situations. Now, Tom Brady used to be one of the guys he could throw for 400 or 500 yards in a game if he needed to. But the past, and he's probably had one or two seasons where he was like elite. I'm not trying to say Tom Brady wasn't elite because he's obviously the greatest quarterback of all time, but he's not a Patrick Mahomes that's going to literally put the team on his back, make incredible throws. He's going to take the check down when he needs to take the check down. And that's what a lot of the elite athletes fail to do. They fail to take the check down when they need to, or they fail to take the slant when they need to. You know, it's always trying to make the deep bomb to Tyreek Hill for 60 yards. But that's what Tom Brady did good, but that's what Jimmy G got to watch growing up.
Yeah, and that's a good point. He's a game manager. Patrick Mahomes used to not look at those checkdowns. He heavily improved this year. But when he's starting, definitely he would not look at his checkdowns. But which he made up for his talent, and he could throw deep and everything. But at the same time, this year that's why he was so scary and so different. It just brought him to a different level. Yeah, and Jimmy G is a game manager. He's gonna take the conservative route, but he knows what he can get if he has players around him.
Yeah, thank you for the question, AJ. That was a good topic to think about, especially with this was the greatest offseason of all time. It's not done. I haven't even hit the draft yet.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna get better and better from here. We got the draft that's already April, and we're heading into May, June, July, starting training camp, and then August, bam, we're right back in preseason. Only a few more months left, and it's crazy because I was sitting here in February. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna wait forever. It's already April. We're already getting the draft now, training camp, and it's gonna be awesome.
Speaking of quarterbacks, the Giants have a big decision to make. Daniel Jones is supposed to be 100% healthy by training camp. The owner has came out and said that they want to give Daniel Jones a real shot with a real coach because he's had a different offensive coordinator every single year or a different head coach. He's never had a stability at the coaching positions, whether it be head coach or offensive coordinator. So that being said, will the Giants pick up Daniel Jones' fifth-year option?
I think they do if they don't have any draft capital to go and draft that quarterback of the future. If they're not sure about Daniel Jones yet, I mean, you got to make a decision now or later. It's kind of like the Marcus Mariota thing. Marcus Mariota in his fifth year, he hasn't developed, and you can't wait that long for your quarterback to develop. And if Daniel Jones doesn't develop, they're already going to be looking next year for a quarterback, without a doubt. I think they do just because it's a cheap option. It gives them kind of leeway just so they don't have to sign him either to a deal. That 50-year option is always nice for teams because they can just have it. It's not a big load yet. So we'll see Jimmy G, Daniel Jones this year. I think they do pick up that option because they like him, but who knows? They could go for Jimmy G as well.
I was just about to bring that up. Jimmy G, Daniel Jones both play for their original teams right now this year, and Jimmy G comes with the Giants. You heard it on the PI podcast first.
Oh man, that would be a hell of a trade. Daniel Jones for Jimmy G, be a backup quarterback in San Fran behind Trey Lance. Ooh.
I'm really interested in the 49ers this year because they're a very good team. Granted, they're in a pretty tough division, but their team is built for a championship. Really, they've just not been able to figure out the quarterback. Not that they've been trying a bunch of different quarterbacks, but they just haven't figured out what to get over the hump. Similar to the Rams. The Rams, they had this championship caliber team. They just couldn't make it over the hump with Jared Goff. They get Matthew Stafford, boom, they win the championship. So I think the 49ers have to figure out what they need to do to make it over the hump.
Yeah, and all they need is that quarterback. If Trey Lance can play good enough, they have the defense. I assume they're gonna be one of the best defenses in the league next year because of who they have, and they literally stopped everybody. Yeah, Vital. We'll go over. We can go over it again. So the Eagles traded their number 16th, number 19th, and number 194 to the Saints in exchange for picks number 18, 101, 237, and a 2023 first round pick and a 2024 second round pick. So
Yeah,
definitely,
this is a pretty even trade for both parties, but what we had kind of talked about was the Saints are in win now mode. They're trying to win now, so they get an extra 2 picks. They have 2 picks now in the first round, which are going to be guaranteed starters. They're going to try to push for the division. So that's really good for the Saints this year. The Eagles, they don't have to pay 3 first fully guaranteed contracts, so they save a little bit on the cap with that. Plus, they get an extra pick next year, which is going to be a better QB draft. So they get 1 more year to see if Jalen Hurts is the guy, and if not, they have a draft pick next year to draft a quarterback. So it was really good for both teams in this scenario. It was like literally an equal trade for both parties.
So the point that I traded is the Saints wanted to win now. Apparently they want. I'm pretty sure, in my opinion, they wanted a quarterback and they wanted a defense player. They probably wanted a quarterback this year to develop for next year and so on. So that's why the Saints made that trade. And the Eagles, they're like, well, okay, let's get these picks for the future. So if we need to grab a quarterback or we need to grab somebody next year, we have that draft capital. And we're still getting a really good defensive player this year to help out Jalen Hurts. So definitely,
it's not like
for the future, basically.
And it's not like they lost a pick in the first round. They still have a first round pick. I think they still have 2 first round picks.
Who, the Eagles?
Because they had 3. They just lost 2 and picked 1 up, so they have 2 still.
Yeah, I think they have 2 still. But yeah, definitely this is just more draft capital for Eagles, and Saints were willing to go all out because now the Saints don't have a number 1 or number 2 pick for the future, so that's gonna hurt them a little bit, I think. So yeah, that's what went down with the Eagles and Saints trade. The Saints want to win now, and it looks like it. They still have a really good defense, and it brings me back to that Tyrann Mathieu thing. If the Saints do sign Tyrann Mathieu, and if they do get a really good defensive player this year, Oh man,
scary.
that's no
Yeah.
matter who their quarterback is, they're gonna be able to carry him.
They got Winston and they have Andy Dalton as a backup. When you have I don't want to call Andy Dalton a starter, but he is starter potential. I mean, he's obviously a veteran in the league. So when you have someone like that as your backup, you either don't believe in your starting quarterback, or you're trying to win now, which was kind of like the Josh Allen and with Mitchell Trubisky being his backup. We're in win now mode, so they needed to have a veteran quarterback in the back just in case something happened to their starter. I think that's what's going to happen with the Saints. I think they believe in Jameis Winston, and I think they have Andy Dalton behind him to lead the team just in case something happens. Andy Dalton can win you a few games with a good team.
Yeah, and they tried the Taysom Hill experiment and didn't work. He's not a quarterback. He's gonna be your multi-talented receiver, tight end, whatever you want him to be. But he's not gonna be your quarterback. Yeah,
Even if
the
I
Eagles
was
do
going to say,
have 2 picks. They have the 15th and 18th now.
oh, so yeah, basically they had the 15, 16, and 19. Now they have 15 and 18. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So they still have 2 first-round picks. They're still going to get 2 good players. They made the playoffs last year. So really, if they can get 2 good defensive pieces or maybe a wide receiver, they should still make the playoffs. I mean, because they didn't really lose out on much other than they didn't really lose much at all this offseason.
Yeah, they re-signed Fletcher Cox to 1 year.
Yeah, that's what I thought they lost him, but they didn't. So
Yeah.
that's going to be a whole situation you're going to have to watch though, in New Orleans, because like you said, they could draft a quarterback. They could just go 2 really good defensive players.
It's going to be a really interesting draft this year just because of how many teams have 2 picks in the first round. And first round, this year's draft, there's automatic starters throughout all 32 picks right here.
And you could argue the second round too.
Yeah, a second round too. I think almost all of them, if not all of them, are going to be starters.
Then you got I was just about to bring up someone. I'm not gonna remember it though. We can go on to the next point because I can't.
And the interesting thing too about the Kansas City, and they're losing Tyrann Mathieu. We talked about him a little bit earlier. They have the 29th and 30th pick.
I think they're definitely going wide receiver with one of those picks. I think here's the thing. At first, we didn't think. A lot of people think the wide receivers are not good enough compared to every other position to go really early on in the draft. But I think with the way the wide receiver market is right now, even if they're not like a real number 1 wide receiver, they're worth taking higher up in the draft because of how much wide receivers cost nowadays.
Yeah, I really think Kansas City goes wide receiver with their one of their picks, and then at the same time, maybe if Kyle Hamilton falls back enough, they take him as well to replace Tyrann Mathieu. That seems like
I don't know
automatic.
I don't know if he falls that far back.
I don't know if he does either, but who knows? The Giants need a receiver. They need a lot of stuff.
Could shake up because on our next topic, the Jaguars met with multiple offensive linemen and Aiden Hutchinson this week. We're starting the top 30 players in the draft are all meeting with teams this week and next week. It's really interesting because, like we talked about on the last podcast, the Jaguars signed an edge rusher, Arden Key. It's just a little 2-year deal. It's nothing crazy, but they've addressed every single position almost. They addressed safety last year. They've addressed almost every single position in the offseason. So now I think Aiden Hutchinson is still the number 1 overall pick, or Thibodeau.
Thibodeau.
But it could be an offensive lineman. I mean, their center retired. The left guard, Andrew Norwell, didn't get re-signed. So there's a hole at left guard and there's a hole at center. You have a top 3 or a 3rd round pick last year, Walker Little, who's sitting the bench. You franchise tagged your left tackle already. So it could be you could see one of the tackles go first. I don't think that's super realistic. They've obviously shown they want to protect Trevor this offseason. The Brandon Scherf signing.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's gonna be. I'm pretty sure they're gonna take Aiden Hutchinson still, but you never know with the Jaguars.
Yeah.
They didn't take Teddy Bridgewater. They took Blake Bortles instead. When a lot of fans wanted Teddy Bridgewater. And they a lineman there would be an amazing pick for them. Literally,
Yeah,
be an instant starter. I
I don't think I understand the need of a really good edge rusher. If Aiden Hutchinson is as good as he's hyped up to be, pairing him with Josh Allen would be an insane combo. It would automatically make the edge position, I don't want to say a top 5 in the league, but a top 10 in the league. Because I know you got Joey Bosa and the Mac and Von Miller up there. Like, I don't want to say it's going to be a top 5 because I don't think it's going to be that great. But it could be a top 10 with those two edge rushers.
Yeah, we're getting closer to NFL draft, guys. Definitely after the draft, we're gonna be watching it very closely, and after the draft, we will have our. That's gonna be a loaded podcast. I mean,
Yeah.
we might have to do multiple podcasts throughout that week, but we'll see. Definitely, Jaguars have their option to do whatever they want. They can either protect Trevor Lawrence more, or they can get a phenomenal pass rusher in Aiden Hutchinson, who
None of
we
those moves
still
are
don't
wrong.
know. Yeah, neither one's wrong.
Yeah. The
But
past, like with a first overall pick, you can be wrong. I don't think either one of, even if they're busts, it's still the right pick. It's like the Giants drafting Daniel Jones in the first round. That's a terrible decision. The decision to draft a quarterback was not terrible. The decision was to draft a player that could have gone in the second or third round in the first round. That was terrible. But Aiden Hutchinson, Evan Neal, none of those are a terrible choice at number 1.
no, they're not. And definitely, I'm really excited to see this first round of the NFL draft when it's time. I'm just super
Especially
excited.
especially with the offseason that's already happened.
Yeah, and
It's been insane.
dude, I think. Oh my God, I don't know for sure, but I think we go Malik Willis, or there are some mock drafts I saw that Thibodeau falls to 8. And it's very likely because there's so many different defensive players that these Giants and Jets need. I mean, they might
Yeah.
not even go Thibodeau. So I'm just really excited at this point because who knows how it's gonna fall. The Jets and Giants, they have 2 first-round picks as well as Kansas City and the Eagles and the Saints. What is this draft this year?
Literally
I
have
don't
no
know.
idea.
Yeah, so
Because you know
definitely,
what teams' needs are. But let's look at the Texans. They have a top 5 pick, right? They
yeah,
have needs at every position. They need a quarterback. They need wide receivers. They need tight end. They need linemen. They need D line. They need corner. They need safety. They need linebackers. They need edge rushers. They need a coach. Well, I mean, they got the coach, but I mean, they're pretty close, right? I mean, they really need everything.
yeah. The Texans need everything they can do to help that team win. It's gonna be interesting to see what they even do. I really don't think they go quarterback because David Mills, they're
No,
building
no,
around
I don't
him.
think
They're
so.
building around David
We got
Mills.
a defensive-minded head coach now too, so I don't think they
Yeah.
go defense heavy.
And we got a decently big trade this year, this week. Devante Parker. We were talking about Miami a lot with that offense with Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, and Devante Parker, then being the trio, the amazing trio. Devante Parker was just traded to the New England Patriots for a 2023 third round, and they also added in a fifth round pick for the Patriots. And now Miami is scheduled to have 2 first round picks, a second, and 2 third round picks in next year's draft.
The Dolphins are one of them teams. They're also in really good position next year if Tua doesn't work out. This year's an experiment year, in my opinion. They got to make the playoffs, or Tua's not going to have a job. But like I said, next year's a better quarterback draft, and they're going to have 2 first rounds, so they can take a quarterback, and whatever position isn't good on their team this year, they get to fix it in the first round.
Yeah. I mean, Devante Parker has been injured a lot this past year and a little bit last year too. So definitely, Devante Parker was one of those questions that I had going into the season. Like now with Tyreek Hill there, I always had a feeling that they could release him or even trade him. And the Patriots needed a wide receiver one. And I think Devontae Parker is still good enough to be wide receiver one, and I think he's going to be number one for the New England Patriots, and that adds such a needed receiver for Mac Jones. Like they really needed that badly, and I think that's going to help him a lot in that division where it's stacked too.
Yeah, it's gonna be one to watch because the Patriots we were all assuming would draft a wide receiver. I still think they need to. Again, kind of like I was talking about with the Edge signing the Jaguars had. This makes it to where they necessarily aren't desperate at wide receiver. They still have Nelson Aguilar. I mean, I'm not saying Nelson Aguilar is a great receiver or anything, but they do have a lot of depth at wide receiver now. So I think they still need a true number one. I think they still draft a wide receiver in their first round pick, but still, this makes it to where they're not forced to do it.
Yeah, I still it would be good for them to draft another receiver, but knowing Belichick and losing their cornerback, losing their linebackers. I think they might. I think they're gonna go defense, and I think Belichick already knows what defensive player he wants. He already knows right from get go.
Yeah. We were talking about quarterbacks earlier. The Saints officially signed Andy Dalton. And Blake Bortles requested to be released, and he was released.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that part. That Blake Bortles requested to be released. Did he request to be released after the signing? Right.
Yes.
Ooh.
He wanted a real shot at being a number two.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. So now, any of those teams that need backups, like let's say Jimmy G gets traded anywhere, Blake Bortles, he'd be like, okay, I'll take that backup spot.
No, here's what's crazy about Blake Bortles. He wasn't a very good quarterback. Not very. I mean, the Jaguars won games in 2017 in spite of Blake Bortles. The defense carried them. And what's crazy is he got offered an extension with the Jaguars when Tom Coughlin came, and he got the extension. He played a year, and then we cut him. Or maybe we traded him. I can't remember. It's been a while now.
I'm pretty sure you could cut Blake Bortles.
But he's never had a chance like anywhere else. He's not played a game since. I mean, he's kind of hopped team to team to team on practice squad. So it's crazy that he went from a starting NFL quarterback, starting in the AFC Championship game. He got hurt the next year. Now he's unheard of. You hear about him in the offseason. That's literally it. He gets signed to a practice squad pretty much every year.
Yeah. It's really interesting because a lot of QB needed teams from that year, they would have probably loved to have Blake Bortles just because he had that AFC Championship appearance. And
he's athletic.
I think they saw the tape. When you look at the tape, Blake Bortles, there's this mechanics, everything about him as a quarterback looked wrong. Like there wasn't too much you could say for him. But during that playoff run, he did play decent. That's what they're gonna look at too. So it is weird that I think after he got injured, definitely teams started to be like, oh, okay, I'm not sure about him anymore. And at that point, most of the teams were already looking forward to the draft. They were already looking for other QB options everywhere.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment of it. Regardless, the Saints, like I said, they have Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston leading the charge. I'm really interested to see what the Saints do this year.
Yeah, Andy Dalton, good backup, but if James Winston plays horrible, Andy Dalton's just gonna go right up. He's gonna start for the Saints, and I think Andy Dalton can be starter. I mean, Definitely James Winston. He's not. Look, he played well the first games he played last year. I'm still not. I'm still not. Um, I'm still not. What's the word?
Sold.
Sold on James Winston. I don't think he's a very good quarterback. So Andy Dalton will probably start, and I think with that defense, he can probably lead them somewhere.
We'll move on to your team. You can announce the next news.
All right. So former Titans first round pick linebacker Rashawn Evans reached agreement on a 1-year deal with the Atlanta Falcons. And this was one of the pickups I kind of I kind of knew was going to happen just because of his history with Arthur Smith. But Rashawn Evans, he's playing very well on that Titans defense, and he did get some sacks, and he was playing decent. So I really do like this pickup. It fills a much needed hole with Foye Lokun being gone and without a veteran presence except for Deion Jones. But I really think Rashawn Evans is a really good pickup. I think that'll help with our pass rush a little bit too because he does pass rush as a linebacker, and I think that's really really gonna help. And I think no matter who we pick in this year's draft, our defense is already looking a step better than it was last year.
Yeah, staying with the NFC South, Tampa Bay's former second-round pick Justin Evans spent a total of 2 years out on football from recovering from injuries. He's signing a 1-year deal to play safety for the New Orleans Saints, but also Saints safety PJ Williams is also returning on a 1-year deal. So it looks like they're making some moves. So even if they don't get the Honey Badger, they have safety depth. If they do get the Honey Badger, they've got a lot of depth.
Yeah, Saints, they're making really good moves this offseason as well. Even though they don't have the most cap space, they're making moves, and this defense already was good, and I just see this just being a good defense again next year. I don't think they're the best or top tier defense, but I think they're good enough to compete. And just this just proves the depth shining. Like literally, Honey Badger. Oh, we're good. If you don't have Honey Badger, oh okay, we'll start these two people. And yeah, also, in big retirement news, Frank Gore is gonna sign a 1-day contract with the Niners, the legend, to retire as a 49er. And Frank Gore is number 3 on the all-time leading rushers list with 16,000 rushing yards on the dot.
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching Frank Gore. We all kind of had jokes that he was like old as dirt being a running back still. I mean, you never hear of running backs playing 15 years. Never. I mean, the fact that he was started in 2005 and made it to 2022, really impressive for longevity purposes. Frank Gore is also, he has the longest streak of consecutive seasons with at least 500 yards rushing in the NFL. He's got the longest streak ever out of any running back ever.
Frank Gore probably was so fun to watch. He was a downhill truck kind of running back. He was that physical kind of running back. He just dominate through the middle, through the sides. He just do everything he can. And it was so awesome to watch him on the 49ers. And they used him well. They loved him. It was awesome to see. It was cool to watch him go longer and longer throughout his career, but you could start telling when running back slowed down, and he was
Yeah.
slowing down, and he knew it, but he just wanted to play some more, and he did. So definitely, I'm happy about this. He's gonna be a legend for a while. He's gonna be a running back legend forever. Go down in 49er history. He's gonna be in the 49ers um, ring honor thing. So definitely one of the best running backs.
He was also a 5-time Pro Bowler. Was also a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame All 2010s team. Had 81 total rushing touchdowns.
Watch me get a Frank Gore jersey now.
Oh.
in the
He
mystery
also
box.
he also had almost 4,000 receiving yards, and 18 receiving touchdowns. Um, yeah, really, really good career for a running back. And I mean, I know longevity wise is part of the big reason he had the amount of yards and stuff he did. But still, like I said, you never hear of running backs lasting that long.
I was really when the 49ers did release Frank Gore, I was kind of a little shocked. I thought they would have kept him because he was still playing well. And I just didn't know if I thought that would be it for him. I didn't know he'd go on to play like 4 or 5 more years and just keep
Yeah.
going. I mean, it's crazy. And in other running back news, I actually didn't know about this one either. Texans signed Marlon Mack. And Marlon Mack is one of those guys. He was in Indy, and he got injured throughout the whole year. So Jonathan Taylor took over, and Jonathan took the starting spot from him. And definitely, Marlon Mack. I think he wanted to be released because he kind of had that thinking like he was going to be the starting running back. He was going to be the Colts' main guy on the rushing yards. But then John Taylor came up, and because he got injured, it's kind of that weird thing. It sucks for a player because you get injured and someone that comes up and does really well, so they think they want to sign him. They want to keep him as a starter, and now it just leaves him in a hole. But I still think Marlon Max, he's very young and he's a hell of a running back, especially before the injury. They didn't, and this year even with the Colts, his last year, literally, he still made some really good running plays that they could have kind of had like a 1-2 punch with him and Marlon Mack and
Yeah.
Naheem Hines. And I think he's gonna be a really good running back for the Texans. He's gonna show flashes of why he was a pick in the draft.
This is going to be good for Davis Mills too.
Yeah,
Have a decent running back in the backfield. They had a lot of running back depth last year, but they just didn't have the guy that was leading their team.
yeah, they tried definitely different running backs like David Johnson, Philip Lindsay. I mean, those were good names, but definitely David Johnson, unfortunately, didn't have the career he had in his first 2 years. He didn't play as well. Unfortunately, now David Johnson's not even really known as a good running back anymore, unfortunately. And he was fun to watch in his first couple of years. Like, he was the best running back in fantasy at points, and definitely he was one of the best running back in the league for a couple of years. And going to this AFC, sticking with the AFC and going to the Pittsburgh Steelers, they signed linebacker Gennard Avery and safety Carl Joseph to 1 year contracts. And Carl Joseph is a solid safety. He can hit really hard, and he's decent in coverage. So definitely, they got someone for depth with Minka, or even starting with him.
Yeah, it depends because they're also one of the teams that was rumored to try to go after the Honey Badger. So could be a depth piece, but could also be a starter. And if he's your starting safety, I mean, you're not in bad shape.
Yeah, but these signings are definitely good for Steelers, and it's gonna be really interesting to see what they do this year. I'm excited for that. Like, I'm excited to see their top 10 plays too. So definitely, if you guys haven't, we started a top 10 reacted to top 10 plays from every team. Definitely, it's on our YouTube channel. So definitely go watch them. It's all in a playlist, so you can watch them from beginning to end. Definitely some really fun plays to watch. And going back to my Falcons now, they just signed safety Demir Bird, who was with the Chicago Bears for a little bit, and I think he's gonna be solid. Um, he's kind of that backup for Richie Grant and Eric Harris. And he might actually start. It depends how he plays in training camp and stuff like that. But Bird is a pretty good safety. I think that's a good signing by us. And also, Falcons are meeting with Malik Willis and Kayvon Thibodeau this week, and I'm super
Yeah, that
excited.
either one of them would be good pickups for you.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how well they like Malik Willis because look, I'm not gonna judge him based on that one throw, but Honestly, if it's this year, if we want a quarterback this year, I want to go Malik Willis. He's agile, he's mobile, he can throw the deep ball, he can do everything you want out of a mobile quarterback. And with that Arthur Smith's offensive system, he'll fit perfectly well in there. And then Kayvon Thibodeau, I really think we should get him just to boost that pass rush. We never had a pass rush, and if he can play as well as he did in college, oh, it's going to be so much fun to watch with Casey Hayward and AJ Terrell locking down defense. He could even get coverage sacks. I'd be happy about that too. So I
Mm-hmm.
really want one of these guys, and we'll see. Ian will probably hear me yell at him for picking one of these guys, and I'll be like so happy. I'll be yelling in Ian's ear or texting him, "Hey, we got Malik Willis. Let's go, suck
Yeah,
it."
we're most likely doing a draft party to watch the draft. We got to figure out. Viewing purposes. Like, are we allowed to show the screen?
Yeah,
Probably not, but like we'll figure it out. We'll at least have the volume and everything, so we can react to each team and what they pick. That's going to be super fun on draft night, especially in the first round.
yeah.
We might not do it for all 3 days of the draft, but definitely the first round because we have the teams we like, right? He's a Falcons fan. I'm a Jaguars fan, but we just enjoy the game of football. So even though, like, as a Jaguar fans, I hate the Titans, I still don't mind watching the Titans. Like the things they do, I don't mind watching Derrick Henry stiff arm someone to the ground. Like, I just love watching football.
The difference is Ian's okay with watching his division rival. As for the Saints, I don't give a damn about them. Definitely the Saints are garbage. They're a garbage organization, and I really don't care about the players. Alvin Kamara is a woman beater, and he definitely doesn't know what he's talking about. He definitely is a hoodlum, and I don't know if I can say that, but my bad, apologies. But definitely the Saints organization I don't care for. They have 2 picks in the draft. They're not gonna do anything with it. Falcons are better. Bam. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, I still hate the Titans. Don't get me wrong. I hate the Titans.
No. I'm just saying. I don't care.
What are you
about the
gonna do
Saints
when?
plays.
Oh yeah, I don't care either. Like, we'll watch it.
No,
I'll
I
react
mean,
to it. I'll
like
be like,
I
damn,
love
that was a
Derrick
nice play.
Henry, but if he was my division, I'd hate him, but I'd love him. And the Saints,
That's how I am. Yeah.
Saints, I don't care about anybody on that team, no matter how good they are. That boy is garbage. Alvin Kamara,
Yeah,
he's good. I can
like
say he's good, but they're
about
not Drew
crab
Brees
legs.
anymore.
About crab legs.
Crab
Jameis
legs?
Winston. Jameis
Yeah, he's
Winston.
garbage. I've seen it firsthand in NFC South for years to come. And he's unfortunately made some plays on the Falcons defense because their defense is garbage. But one thing I gotta say, 30 interceptions. No one does that except you're garbage. I don't give a damn how many 5,000 if you went for 5,000 passing yards. Yeah, you're garbage. Don't even try.
Hey, but he doesn't throw those 30 interceptions. He throws for almost 6,000 yards.
No, I think he's just garbage. I don't care about it. Well, I didn't mind him on the Buccaneers but he's a Saint, so I don't really care about him now.
Speaking of our reaction videos, thank you guys. We just hit 100 views on reacting to the Jaguars top 10 plays. So thank you, Duval and Jaguars Nation, for coming through on that. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
we're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, thank you guys for the support on the TikToks, on the YouTube videos, reaction videos. Definitely, we see that you guys are liking the video. You guys are really liking the reaction videos, and we're posting them every day, and we're gonna continue to post them every day till we finish it. But yeah, thank you guys. You guys are loving it. We love watching them because they're really fun to watch, really fun to react to.
We've so basically we've got a couple tier lists that we've done. We've got reaction videos. We're gonna react to all 32 teams, top 10 plays. So if you guys have any more ideas, please let us know. Either comment down below, comment on the TikToks, whatever. Whatever's easiest for you. We're gonna do our best to upload every single day. If we don't upload every day, it's gonna be at least 5 days a week. We are counting our podcast as part of those uploads. So like we're trying to do two we're trying to do 2 podcast episodes a week and then 5 videos a week. And we will do the Niners. Actually, we might record the Steelers and the Niners tonight.
Yeah, we'll probably go do Steelers because I know Vital's been asking for Steelers for a little bit while Ian was on vacation. But yeah, so definitely do Steelers and Niners just for you guys, so we get them out earlier for you guys. So definitely, you guys will
Yes,
see those soon. So definitely, if you guys definitely let us know what reactions you want to see, and we'll do them right away. We'll
yeah.
like make sure to prioritize them.
Today's Tuesday. We'll do Steelers Wednesday. Thursday we can do Niners. That way they're
Back to back, yep.
set. And we'll be uploading them all at 4 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, so every day at 4 p.m. Eastern, reaction video will be live, so you can definitely just get ready.
And then our podcasts are going to be at 10 p.m. Eastern on the days we do it. We're still kind of up in the air. Most likely the next podcast episode will be either Saturday or Sunday. Because like we were talking about, we're trying to get like daily uploads as well. So not only are we trying to take the time to do podcasts, we're also trying to take the time to make videos throughout the week. And like we uploaded to TikTok all the time, like multiple times a day. I think today is the first time we didn't upload multiple times.
Yeah, we post on TikTok so much. Also, probably the podcast will be Sunday. Sunday's my birthday, so probably be a perfect time to do it as well.
Yeah, we can do it Sunday. Let's go ahead and make it official. Sunday, 10 p.m. Eastern. And let's see, today's Tuesday. So Wednesday will be Steelers. Thursday will be Niners. Friday will be the unboxing. I uploaded it to the drive, so we're good there.
Okay.
And then Saturday will be either a reaction video or a tier list.
Alrighty. Yeah, that definitely sounds good. Hopefully you guys are excited. These videos, so basically after today, we're going to be uploading every day to our next podcast. And then again, every day to our next podcast. So that's basically the schedule. And then we're going to start thinking about different series after we react to all 32 teams, top 10 plays of the season. So definitely, if you guys have any ideas, let us know now or in the comment section of one of our videos. And we'll definitely use that idea because we're still thinking of ideas. We got a lot of teams to go through for the top 10. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Ian, is that it for our notes?
Yeah, that is it for the notes.
Yeah.
Not a lot happened. We did have we had the big trade between the Eagles and the Saints on the draft picks. Frank Gore retiring was pretty big, and then Bobby Wagner finally getting signed was pretty big. So, other than that, kind of a slower week, but expect some teams to start really getting involved because like the Patriots like to wait till now to make some moves. The Steelers will like to wait till now to make moves. So I think there's going to be some good signings coming up. We still got Honey Badger that we're waiting on. Clowney's still waiting on.
I want Clowney in that black and red.
Stephon Gilmore is still getting waited on. OBJ.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown, I don't think he's going to get signed, but he's still top 10 free agent right now, so still waiting on him.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get signed at all. I think he's done. No one wants.
I don't think he's done. I think there's going to be a team. I think there's going to be a team desperate enough to sign him mid-season.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I don't think it happens before the season starts.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys so much for watching the stream. If you joined us live, thank you again. You guys are amazing. We just wanted to shout out everyone who came to the live. Vital and AJ, thank you guys for stopping by the stream. Really, it helps out as well if you guys ask questions because definitely We have our notes just to have notes so we can schedule ourselves or provide ourselves
You're
some
moving, yeah.
information so we can keep on moving with the podcast. So definitely, if you guys definitely ask away any questions and all questions you want, we'll go over them during the podcast live. But yeah, Ian, anything else you'd like to say?
No, just keep an eye out, turn the notification bell on, subscribe, like, follow our TikTok, follow our Twitter. I don't think I have anything else.
Yeah, make sure to hit the link tree. We got merch, so definitely check that out as well. And yeah, thank you guys for watching the live podcast. We'll be back on my birthday. So definitely it's gonna be a big one, or big one ish. Depends on how much news we have, but still it's gonna be a fun one. Thank you guys for watching. Ian just posted the link tree right there. So definitely guys go check it out. We have all our socials on there, and we have the merch store on there. Definitely some of the merch are really cheap, like $5 even, and like one of the sticker that looks really cool with our logo because it's like behind white covering. It's awesome. Definitely guys, definitely definitely don't have to. Definitely if you like merch though, it's definitely have the merch store there. But thank you guys so much for watching the live podcast. This will be on YouTube. YouTube will process this live stream and then put it on YouTube in a little bit. So definitely if you guys have missed anything, definitely watch the video again and it'll be on our playlist eventually. So definitely thank you guys.
Yeah, it'll also once the video renders, it'll also be on what is it? Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcast.
Yeah. It'll be on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and eventually some more platforms. But for right now, those 4 platforms, if you guys want to listen on the road or anything like that. So thank you guys. And we'll catch you guys in our next podcast on Sunday. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for watching the PI Podcast. Make sure you subscribe and tune in next time so you don't miss the latest news in the NFL world.